you ready to tell him that?
手拭きのシャワー君に注いであげる寂しげなその背中を支えてあげる手拭きのシャワー君は一人じゃないわ友情
Oh my god.
沖縄に守られてる
What effect?
Clark and Scott and John and Jeffrey
Scott.
and Alan.
John, Jeffrey, and
Labor
Liliana.
Day weekend, and Scott and Jeffrey are visiting us from Raleigh, Durham, where they just moved to a fabulous new home. We're having a swell time, although Princess Diana has been injured gravely. It's been reported, allegedly.
Not allegedly. They have pictures. We're watching it on
Allegedly.
We're watching it on CNN.
There's a huge accident. It's alleged.
It happened 2 hours
Cover my
ago.
bases. I cannot afford a lawsuit.
Oh.
It's breaking news.
So who's winning?
The news broke.
Well, Alan's ahead right now.
Oh, I didn't just
Alan's
say
only
that.
got.
As far as the public was concerned, it was a match made in heaven. And on the 29th of July 1981, the stage was set for the wedding of the century at St. Paul's Cathedral in London.
I want you to go to that painful place. I want you to take me there. I understand. I'm here. I want you to go to that painful place. I want you to take me there. I'm scared too. Go back and remember. It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
She later confessed to attempts at self-mutilation. Nevertheless, the birth of a second in line to the throne gave both parents great joy and brought a new focus to Diana's life. She was determined that her young son would know the close love and attention she'd been starved of in her own childhood.
I never told you. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Not your fault.
Well, it's because I gotta hide my elbows, 3/4 length in hem and a sort of cruel round neck. I quite like what you've done there.
Just like a sort of...
You a top knot?
Like a band. Yes, I'd
Yeah.
love to
Really?
wear that.
Really?
Could I do it with my mum?
Yeah.
We're protected.
Well, that's easy. Well, we can do that.
I know. I'm scared too. Go back and remember.
suppose. Well, they're able to sleep in the afternoon.
She had that ability to make people feel included and to make other people the centre of attention. And actually that's a special gift, and not many people have it.
Shake their hands without gloves helped to break down much of the mythology surrounding AIDS. And in that respect, I think she did an enormous amount, not just in Britain, but around the world, to help to break down those taboos.
No, I can't.
Go put it on the TV.
Yeah.
Put it on the TV.
Whose turn is first?
Whose tongue is first?
Turn.
Oh.
You have a lot of those
words.
Everybody go out fast.
It has changed. Princess Diana seriously injured.
Oh.
They've added the word seriously.
That's not good.
That's not good.
In other words, her face got it.
Dodi Al-Fayed is dead, as was the driver from the Ritz in the Mercedes, but her chauffeur was also injured.
Oof.
No, her
bodyguard was injured.
What
The
did I
chauffeur
say?
was. You said the chauffeur
The
was
chauffeur
injured.
was killed.
That's why I'm not on CNN, and they are.
The most photographed car.
What adventure of life.
Roadside assistance.
With loader towing.
Gosh, it is. The engine's pushed way back
Yeah.
up into the
They had to hit it.
They're
The front
dead.
seat.
They're lucky anybody's alive.
Because the gala was very awful.
You enjoyed it, didn't you?
I had a cold much to every time there's a quiet moment. What's going on? I loved it.
Look, it doesn't show in your eyes when you have it. I mean,
just the
yeah.
makeup.
No, but some people's eyes go dull.
You must have felt rotten though having to sit through it
No, it's all right now. I just get embarrassed. And you know when you're not supposed to cough, you cough more.
Of course, you can't control it.
And the bachelor's dress, of course.
Yes. Didn't think I had the pearls down the back that night.
No.
No, you didn't.
I learned that was very uncomfortable when I wore that.
When you're
Stabbed in the back.
sweet.
Are you somewhere feeling lonely? Someone loving you? Tell me how to win your heart, for I haven't got a clue. But let me start by saying I love you.
The press continued to track her every move. There was no escape.
It made her very angry when she was trying to relax. And when all she wanted was time out, time to discuss, girl talk, basically. That's it. That's all she wanted, a bit of peace. And she was never, ever, ever allowed it.
In the final months of Diana's life, media attention reached epic proportions. There were rumors of a new romance, and the bounty hunters were out in force. The man in Diana's life was Playboy millionaire Dodi Al-Fayed. It seemed Diana might at last have found the true happiness that had eluded her for so long. But it was not to be.
word normal and can in the same sentence.
Is that on tape? That's how I'll be remembered.
I just thought we should get you back.
Princess Diana dead.
Oh, she died.
Where's the remote?
Oh my God.
Oh, she didn't make it. Oh
my God.
Just use the volume.
Jesus.
Get it loud.
Why can't? It's the damn thing.
Within the briefing room where you're gathered, how did you find out who told you?
I was told. I had to step out because it was still going on. We were told by a hospital employee making a public statement, and now the French Interior Minister, Jean-Pierre Chevènement, is speaking and expressing his condolences. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Now, I'm going to have to go back in the briefing room, and I cannot speak up. They don't have the microphones turned on, so nobody can hear terribly well what's being said if I'm speaking to you. But
all right, Christopher.
It is confirmed that she's dead. She succumbed to massive internal injuries.
Officials are saying at the hospital, but it appears to be official. Princess Diana, at the age of 36, has died of massive internal injuries she suffered in a car accident along with her companion Dodi Al-Fayed. Let's go now live to CNN's Jim Bitterman in Paris. Jim?
During the early hours of August 31st, 1997, Diana, Princess of Wales, died from injuries sustained earlier that night in a fatal car crash in the Pont de l'Elme tunnel in Paris, France. Diana's partner, Dodi Fayed, and the driver of the Mercedes-Benz W140, Henry Paul, were found dead inside the car. Dodi's bodyguard, Trevor Rees Jones, was seriously injured and was the only survivor of the crash. In 1999, a French investigation found that Paul lost control of the vehicle at high speed while intoxicated by alcohol and under the effects of prescription drugs, and concluded that he was solely responsible for the crash. He was the deputy head of security at the Hotel Ritz, Paris, and had earlier goaded paparazzi waiting for Diana and Fayed outside the hotel. Antidepressants and traces of an antipsychotic in his blood might have worsened Paul's inebriation. In 2008, a jury at the British inquest, Operation Paget, returned a verdict of unlawful killing through grossly negligent driving by Paul in the following paparazzi vehicles. Some media reports claim that Rees Jones survived because he was wearing a seatbelt, but other investigations revealed that none of the occupants of the car were wearing them. Diana was 36 years old when she died. Her death sparked an outpouring of public grief in the United Kingdom and the world, and her televised funeral was watched by an estimated 2.5 billion people. The royal family were criticized in the press for their reaction to Diana's death.
Today's statement from Buckingham Palace will be seen by some as a response to criticism of the royal establishment's handling of Diana's death. Many had been contrasting the outpouring of popular grief and emotion with the silence and perceived detachment of senior members of the royal family.
Immediately after the Paris tragedy, Buckingham Palace issued a statement saying that the Queen and the Prince of Wales were deeply shocked and distressed by the terrible news. But since then there had been nothing until today. The absence of a flag at half-mast at Buckingham Palace upset many people, and the absence of the royal family, who've remained at Balmoral throughout, has dismayed others. In today's Sun newspaper, an editorial criticises the royal family's response and states bluntly, "All the royals can do is pull up the drawbridges on their emotional castles and retreat into an artificial world where all that matters is doing it by the book."
Public interest in Diana has remained high, and she continues to retain regular press coverage in the decades since her death. On Saturday, August 30th, 1997, Princess Diana left the Olbia Airport, Sardinia, on a private jet and arrived at Le Bourget Airport in Paris with Egyptian film producer Dodi Fayed, son of businessman Mohammed Al Fayed. They had stopped there en route to London, having spent the preceding 9 days together on board Mohammed's yacht, Johnny Call, on the French and Italian Riviera. They had intended to stay there for the night. Mohammed was the owner of the Hotel Ritz, Paris, and resided in an apartment on Rue Ausigny-José, a short distance from the hotel, just off the Avenue des Champs-Élysées. Henri Paul, deputy head of security at the Ritz, had been instructed to drive the hired black 1994 armored Mercedes-Benz S280 saloon. In order to elude the paparazzi, a decoy vehicle left the Ritz first from the main entrance on Place Vendôme, attracting a throng of photographers. Diana and Fayed then departed from the hotel's rear entrance, Rue Cambon, at around 12:20 on August 31st, CEST, heading for the apartment in Rue Ausigny-José. They did this to avoid the nearly 30 photographers waiting in front of the hotel. Diana and Fayed were the rear passengers. Trevor Rees-Jones, a member of the Fayed family's personal protection team, was in the right front passenger seat. None of the occupants were wearing seatbelts. After leaving the Rue Cambon and crossing Place de la Concorde, they drove along Cours la Reine and Cours Albert Premier, the embankment road, along the right bank of the River Seine, into the Place d'Alma underpass.
Ich weiß nicht, normalerweise nehme ich keine. Na gut, dieses eine Mal. Verdammter Paparazzo!
She became the object of a non-stop photographic feeding frenzy.
Photographer Mark Saunders followed her everywhere, even the gym.
She said, "Who do you sell your pictures to?" And I said, "I sell them to anyone." And she said, "Yeah, lines the wallet well, though, don't they?" And I said, "Well, yes, but it is still just a job." And I asked if I could take a picture of her, and she said, "A picture of me now? No, I don't think so." And I said, "Oh, well, make me a few bob." And she said, "Well, how would you like me then?" And I said, "Well, topless would be nice." And she laughed. And said, yes, that would be nice.
The pressure got to her. In 1992, Princess Diana decided to take a year off from her public duties.
I hope you can find it in your hearts to understand and to give me the time and space that has been lacking in recent years.
She may have taken time off, but the paparazzi didn't. If she couldn't protect herself, Diana tried at least to protect her children. She learned a trick. No face, no photo. But watch, she still manages to bend down and accept flowers from a child. The trouble with her determination to escape the paparazzi was that Diana herself forever fed the beast. Her personal problems, her bulimia, the collapse of her marriage, her affairs, all kept them after her, especially her affairs. Journalist Richard Kay.
Any man who gets involved with the Princess of Wales has got to be prepared for the most astonishing intrusions in his life.
Dodi Fayed was. He was Hollywood, a movie producer. He was also a man with a reputation for loving and leaving beautiful, high-profile women, for seeking the limelight. There was a certain Jackie Onassis quality to the romance between Dodi Fayed and Diana. Perhaps their relationship was literally an accident waiting to happen.
You press that killed her.
nobility is still bubbling about the champagne-filled Party of the Year, a social event to die for. Diana decided not to sneak in a side door like some other high-profile guests, but instead she swept up the front stairs. She was a work of art, dressed in a daring midnight blue and black lace gown, accented with a pearl and sapphire choker. Then she was introduced to society by her good friend Liz Tilberis, the editor of Harper's Bazaar.
Are you pleased to have Diana? Terribly pleased, very honored. It's great to have such great friends. Thank you.
Even the not-so-starstruck were blushing from their brush with Di.
And anyone who gets just close to her, absolutely.
Through the steaming woodlands, it's darkened light through bulging veins, through the steaming
I think the footage that's been released by the coroner is actually very compelling because we get a second by second almost take on what was happening to Diana just before she died, and in that way it's quite haunting.
Most haunting is what might be the last of Diana's smiles that any camera captured.
I am certain what happened to them. I know they've been murdered, and I'm sure the jury of ordinary people will confirm all my doubts for the last 10 years, which I've been fighting to find justice for my son and Princess Diana.
It had been more than 3 times over the French limit, then twice the British one.
One of the most intriguing images was shown 4 years ago on Channel 5. At 11 minutes past 11, Henri Paul, supposedly 3 times over the French limit, manages to tie both shoelaces. He squats, switches his balance from right to left foot before standing up unaided.
He looked pretty sober to me, and I think to everybody who was watching that footage. So he certainly didn't look somebody who was intoxicated, and most definitely he didn't look like somebody who was as drunk as a pig as the newspapers reported in the aftermath of that crash.
Lord Stephen's report said Henri Paul was walking around the hotel apparently functioning normally, with no indication he was unsteady. But his verdict was that blood samples that were from Henri Paul did have a high alcohol content. If the jury are not convinced Henri Paul was too drunk to drive, they will challenge all previous judgments. The coroner has already alerted them to what is called a major issue.
Whether evidence has been fabricated to suggest Henri Paul was drunk when he was not.
In the Diana inquest, one of the 20 issues the coroner has highlighted is
whether, and if so in what circumstances, the Princess of Wales feared for her life.
In October 1996, in a letter to her butler, Princess Diana expressed the fear that she would die in a car crash, and it wouldn't be an accident.
I am sitting here at my desk today in October, longing for someone to hug me and encourage me to keep strong and hold my head up high. This particular phase in my life is the most dangerous. X is planning an accident in my car, brake failure, and serious head injury.
His pictures caught a moment in history.
Là on voit Trevor et Keith Winfield qui descendent de l'avion avec des bagages.
The first time the 4 people who would drive in the doomed Mercedes ever met. Dodie was close to Henri Paul, deputy head of security at the Ritz. Dodie spends 7.5 minutes in Reposi, then comes back to the hotel with a brochure. He hares upstairs to Diana in the Imperial Suite. Dodie dispatches one of the hotel managers, Claude Roulet, to Reposi. He's marked by the red spot. He returns to the Ritz with a bag. Inside are 2 rings. He takes them upstairs to Dodie in the Imperial Suite and claims Dodie chooses a gold band, part of the Dis-moi oui or Say Yes to Me range, valued at £130,000. Roulet is seen putting the ring in the Ritz safety deposit box and signing for it. Just before 7 o'clock, Dodie and Diana leave the hotel. Henri Paul sees the car off at the rear exit and then goes off duty for the weekend, or so he thinks. The CCTV says they came into the Ritz at about 10 to 10. Dodie appears to look tense, as it was said the presence of the paparazzi had bothered him. Because the couple have come back unexpectedly, Henri Paul is suddenly summoned back and arrives in his Mini outside the hotel. Five minutes later, Thierry Rocher is talking with Henri Paul and another member of staff. Paul then waves to the chauffeur who had driven Dodie and Diana back to the hotel. 6 minutes later, Henri Paul talks to one of the drivers again. At 10:43, Henri Paul re-enters the Ritz and goes to the bar to finish his Ricard, an aniseed alcoholic drink, one of 2 he ordered at the Ritz that night. And this is when he realizes his shoelaces have become undone. The cameras show it takes Henri Paul 44 seconds to tie his shoelaces. Diana wags a finger at Dodie. She's very playful. Trevor Rhys-Jones is close to Henri Paul, and as he testified to Lord Stevens, he smelt no drink on the driver's breath.
He was at work as far as I was concerned, and he was behaving in a very sober way. The last thing I remember, we got in the vehicle, we pulled off, and the couple of paparazzi vehicles that were at the back of the hotel started to follow us.
At 12:23, Paul lost control of the car at the entrance to the Pont de l'Alma underpass. The car reportedly struck a passing white Fiat, swerved to the left of the two-lane carriageway, and collided head-on with the 13th pillar that supported the roof. It was traveling at an estimated speed of 105 kilometers per hour, 65 miles per hour. More than twice the 50-kilometer, 31 miles per hour speed limit of the tunnel. It then spun, hit the stone wall of the tunnel backwards, and finally came to a stop. The impact caused substantial damage, particularly to the front half of the vehicle, as there was no guardrail to prevent this. Witnesses arriving shortly after the crash reported smoke. Witnesses also reported that photographers on motorcycles, quote, swarmed the Mercedes saloon before it entered the tunnel. The photographers had been driving slower and were some distance behind the Mercedes. When they reached the scene, some rushed to help, trying to open the doors and help the victims, while some of them took pictures. Police arrived around 10 minutes after the crash at 12:30, and an ambulance was on site 5 minutes later, according to witnesses. France Info Radio reported that one photographer was beaten by witnesses who were horrified by the scene. 5 of the photographers were arrested directly. Later, 2 others were detained, and around 20 rolls of film were taken directly from the photographers. Police also impounded their vehicles afterwards. Firefighters also arrived at the scene to help remove the victims. Rhys-Jones sustained multiple serious facial injuries and a head concussion, but he was conscious. The front airbags had functioned normally. Diana was sitting in the right rear passenger seat and was critically injured, but she was also conscious. The crash mostly affected the right-hand side of her body, indicating that she was sitting sideways in her seat at the time of impact. Her ribs and arm were fractured, and her right collarbone was dislocated, and she suffered from swelling and bruising to the brain. She was reported to murmur repeatedly, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And after the photographers and other helpers were pushed away by police, "Leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone." In June 2007, the Channel 4 documentary Diana, The Witnesses in the Tunnel claimed that the first person to touch Diana was off-duty physician Frederick Maillier, who chanced upon the scene. Maillier reported that Diana had no visible injuries but was in shock. She was reported to have been extremely disturbed and removed an intravenous drip while shouting incoherently after being sedated and removed from the car. At 1 o'clock, she went into cardiac arrest, but her heart started beating again following external cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Diana was moved to the ambulance at 1:18, left the scene at 1:41, and arrived at the Hôpital Pitié-Salpêtrière at 2:06. Fayed was in the left rear passenger seat and was pronounced dead at the scene shortly afterwards. Paul was also pronounced dead at the scene on removal from the wreckage. Diana's injuries were extensive, and resuscitation attempts were unsuccessful, including internal cardiac massage. Her heart had been displaced to the right side of her chest, which tore the upper left pulmonary vein in the pericardium. Diana died at the hospital at 4 o'clock. Anesthetist Bruno Rieu announced her death at 6 o'clock at a news conference held at the hospital.
À son arrivée à l'hôpital de la Pitié-Salpêtrière, elle présentait un choc hémorragique gravissime d'origine thoracique, puis rapidement un arrêt cardiaque.
We have reports from Paris that Diana, Princess of Wales, has been killed in a car accident and that her partner, Dodi Fayed, has also been killed. They were apparently being pursued by paparazzi on 2 motorcycles.
Confirmation from our very own Foreign Secretary Robin Cook, who's in the Far East at the moment, that Diana, Princess of Wales, has in fact been killed in that car accident. I come across Harry Shush. I come across a great deal of people who it's so difficult. I can't even string my words together.
Well, that's really hard. You've got 2 of the most impossible people.
Confirmation from Buckingham Palace tonight that the world has lost Princess Diana at age 36.
And I mean, you're doing this frequently. What particular aspect of that do you like most?
I like to draw out the darker parts of people's way of thinking.
Why the darker parts?
Because normally the people I've met, they're afraid to share it with me or with anyone, and I think it helps by tapping onto it.
Princess Diana was changing, and so were the causes she chose to support.
I chose these particular areas because they were all areas where the individuals have been rejected for some reason or another, and I'm able to relate to that particular department because my role and my duties have taken me into these, have drawn me into these areas.
Diana's answers reveal how deeply she longed for the affirmation she felt she never got from the royal family.
And do you feel that what you do has a positive influence?
Well, I hope it does, because I think whoever we are, we all like to be thanked for what we're doing.
Diana understood that her position gave her the power to address issues others couldn't or wouldn't, such as AIDS.
Because I don't think it's a particularly glamorous area, because it's dealing with all sorts of issues, and the last issue is death, which people do not discuss freely.
It has been claimed that the level of alcohol reported to have been found in Henri Paul's blood was inconsistent with his sober demeanor, as captured on the CCTV of the Ritz that evening. Robert Forrest, a forensic pathologist, said that an alcoholic like Paul with a higher tolerance for alcohol would be able to appear more sober than he actually was. The families of Dodi Fayed and Henri Paul did not accept the findings of the French investigation. It was disclosed in 2006 that Lord Stevens had met with Paul's elderly parents and told them that their son was not drunk. Just prior to Stevens's appearance at the inquest, A source close to Stevens stated that this inconsistency could be explained as him being, quote, considerate and sensitive towards the elderly couple, an assessment Scott Baker suggested might be credible in his opening comments to the jury. Under cross-examination at the British inquest in 2008, Stevens denied deliberately misleading Paul's parents and said that the chauffeur's condition at the time of the crash did not match the police's definition of being drunk, which he said relied upon someone's physical responses. Stevens said that the available evidence suggested Paul had consumed only 2 alcoholic drinks, but this was not necessarily all that Paul had consumed, and that he was, quote, under the influence of alcohol at the time of the crash. An expert cited in the report estimated that Paul had drunk the equivalent of 5 measures of Ricard, his favorite licorice-flavored French aperitif, before driving.
Vers 7h du matin, je suis rentré au tunnel. Au tunnel de l'Alma, parce que je voulais voir l'intérieur. Et je croyais, j'étais sûr que c'était toujours fermé, mais c'était complètement ouvert. Et ça m'a beaucoup surpris, hein, parce que c'était Diana, elle était morte. C'était une grande affaire et j'aurais pensé que la police aurait fermé le tunnel pendant même plusieurs journées, mais c'était complètement ouvert vers 7h du matin.
Lord Stevens recorded the French traffic police view that the westbound carriageway of the tunnel wasn't reopened prematurely. The green vans went into spray and sweep, and officially, the Alma Tunnel was open for traffic again by 10:30 that morning.
In 1999, a French investigation concluded that the Mercedes had come into contact with a white Fiat Uno in the tunnel. The driver of the Fiat was never conclusively traced, although many believed that the driver was Levan Tan. Tan was questioned by French detectives in 1997 who ruled him out as a suspect, but friends and family members have noted inconsistencies in his story. Tan has since refused interviews or inquiries from investigators. The specific vehicle was not identified. Analysis of the wreckage of the Mercedes revealed it had glancing contact with a white Fiat Uno car, which left traces of paint on the Mercedes bodywork. Extensive attempts by the French police to find the vehicle involved were unsuccessful. Although no one had seen the Fiat in the tunnel, some witnesses reported seeing an Uno exiting the tunnel. Mohammed Al-Fayed alleged in his July 2005 statement to Operation Paget and at other times that the white Fiat Uno was being used by MI6 as a means of causing the Mercedes to swerve and thereby crash into the side of the tunnel. Al-Fayed further alleged that the Fiat Uno was owned by a French photojournalist, Jean-Paul James Andanson, a security services agent, according to Al-Fayed, while she was at his villa in Saint-Tropez in July 1997. And Donson's death in May 2000, Al-Fayed claimed, was either due to guilt over what he had done or because he was assassinated by the French or British security services to silence him.
The Mercedes wing mirror was found at this point, with traces of another car's paintwork and shards of a Fiat tail light. The Mercedes was thrown into the right-hand wall, then hurled across into the 13th pillar in the middle of the tunnel.
In a field, they found this Fiat. Its taillight had just been replaced, and it belonged to a man who had spent the summer photographing Dodi and Diana, James Andanson. He was one of the most famous paparazzis in the world. He had a white Fiat Uno, and the inquest has raised as a likely issue
whether James Andanson was in Paris on the night of the collision.
He was the subject of a French television program in 2000.
Une anecdote, car c'est une voiture qui a 325 000 km maintenant. Une année, je fais quelques photos de M. Gianni Agnelli à Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat. Il se baignait son bateau, le Capriccia. Je fais quelques photos de lui. Le lendemain, il me reconnaît. Il revient dans le port de Saint-Tropez et je lui dis j'ai à peu près déjà 200 000 km avec, alors que là j'ai 325 000. Et il me dit l'artiste, quand tu seras à 500 000 km, je te ferai un cadeau d'une voiture.
Anderson told people he was in the tunnel on the night of the crash. Elizabeth Dard, the widow of one of his friends, told us 5 years ago he had claimed he was at the scene.
Il m'a dit qu'il y était. Il nous a dit qu'il y était. Je suis venu, il a mis la bidon et tout ça. Il n'a pas été pris par la police. Il est parti parce qu'il était malin.
Lord Stevens spoke to Elizabeth Dard and her daughter Josephine and says, they appear to be truthful witnesses who have nothing to gain by fabricating such a conversation. Nevertheless, Lord Stevens does not believe Anderson's story and concludes he was not in Paris on the night of the crash. A footnote to all this is that Anderson died later in 2000 after setting fire to himself in his own car in a deserted woodland. Lord Stevens added, there is no evidence whatsoever that he was murdered.
Operation Paget found that the white Fiat Uno Anderson owned was in an unroadworthy condition, being 9 years old at the time, with 325,000 kilometers, 202,000 miles on the odometer, suggesting that the car had been driven 27,000 miles per annum and had not been maintained for several years prior. And Donson's neighbors confirmed the veracity of this evidence. And Donson had sold the car in October 1997. Operation Paget concluded it was extremely unlikely, due to the car's condition and the fact Donson had so openly disposed of it, that it was the one at the scene of the crash in Paris. French police had examined Donson's car as part of their efforts to trace the one that had come into contact with the Mercedes, with a view to prosecuting the driver for failing to render assistance, and had reached the same conclusion. The French police spent a year after the crash searching for the vehicle and eliminated over 4,000 white Fiat Unos from their inquiry. Operation Paget decided it would be unlikely that renewed inquiries would identify the vehicle involved, as such a long period had elapsed since the crash. It concluded the threat of prosecution for a custodial offense probably deterred the driver from coming forward at the time. And Donson died in May 2000. The official verdict was suicide. His body was found in a black, burnt-out BMW in a forest near the town of Nantes in southern France. And Donson's death was attributed to problems in his private life. The 2008 inquest into the death of the Princess of Wales heard that evidence was uncovered from his friends and associates that prior to his death he had talked of suicide by pouring petrol in a car and lighting a cigar, as noted by Richard Horwell, QC for the Metropolitan Commissioner. The Paget report states that when the car was found, Donson's body was in the driver's seat of the car and his head was detached and lay between the front seats. There was a hole in his left temple. The French pathologist concluded this hole was caused by the intense heat of the fire rather than, for example, a bullet wound. That is suspicious as fuck! Operation Paget found no evidence Donson was known to any security service, and, contrary to Al-Fayed's claims, his death was thoroughly investigated by French police, although the whereabouts of the car keys has never been explained. A break-in at his former workplace in June 2000, alleged to have been carried out by security services, was found to be unconnected to his death, as no items related to him were stolen. The first call to the emergency services switchboard was logged at 12:26 a.m. The SAMU ambulance carrying the princess arrived at the Hôpital Pitié-Salpêtrière at 2:06 a.m. The French system of emergency care adhered to the stay and play mantra, which meant that the patient needed to be stabilized first at a fully equipped medical ambulance before being directed to a specialized hospital that could treat their injuries, no matter how far away it was. Nevertheless, the length of time has prompted much conspiracy-related comment. The period between the crash and the arrival at the hospital takes into account the following: the time taken for emergency services to arrive, the time taken by the sapeurs-pompiers fire service of Paris to remove Diana from the damaged car, and the actual journey time from the crash site to the hospital. The first emergency officials arrived at the scene around 12:30 a.m. Jean-Marc Martineau, a specialist in anesthetics and the doctor in charge of the SAMU ambulance, arrived at around 12:40 a.m. Diana was removed from the car at 1 a.m. She then went into cardiac arrest. Following external cardiopulmonary resuscitation, her heart started beating again. She was moved to the SAMU ambulance at 1:18 a.m. The ambulance departed from the crash scene at 1:41 a.m. and arrived at the hospital at 2:06 a.m., a journey time of approximately 26 minutes. This included a stop at the Gare du Stade-Solitz, ordered by Martineau because of the drop in the blood pressure of the Princess of Wales and the necessity of dealing with it. The ambulance was traveling slowly on his express instructions. The doctor was concerned about Diana's blood pressure on her medical condition of deceleration and acceleration. The SAMU ambulance carrying Diana passed the Hôtel du Hospital at the Ile de Cité en route to the Hôpital Pitié-Salpêtrière. The decision to transfer her to the Hôpital Pitié-Salpêtrière was taken by Marc Léger, who was on dispatch duty in SAMU control on that night, in consultation with Dr. De Rossi, who was at the scene. The Hôpital Pitié-Salpêtrière was the main reception center for multiple trauma patients in Paris. The Hôtel Dieu was not equipped to deal with the injuries Diana had sustained. Léger stated, "The Hôtel Dieu hospital on the Ile de la Cité is closer, but not equipped with heart surgery teams or neurosurgical teams, or teams trained to take patients with multiple injuries." Léger was also aware that Bruno Rieu was on duty at the Pitié-Salpêtrière that night and was particularly skilled to treat her injuries. Martineau supported this view. Mohammed Al-Fayed alleged that Diana's body was deliberately embalmed shortly after her death to ensure that any pregnancy test at the post-mortem would produce a false report. Robert Chapman, who carried out the post-mortem examination, stated that the embalming fluids would have no effect on determining whether Diana was pregnant or not, as the physical evidence would have been present in her womb and ovaries. Operation Paget found that August 31st, 1997 was a very hot day in Paris. Diana's body had been stored in an empty room adjacent to the emergency room where she had been treated at the Hôpital Pitié-Salpêtrière, as the mortuary was on the other side of the hospital grounds and some distance away. Dry ice and air conditioning units were placed in the room to keep it cool, but appeared to have little success. Diana's two sisters and Prince Charles were scheduled to view the body later that afternoon before bringing it back to the United Kingdom. President Jacques Chirac and his wife also wished to pay their respects. This meant there was very little time to prepare the body for viewing, and it was deemed unacceptable to present Diana's body to her family and the President of France in the state it was in. Faced with this situation, the hospital staff decided to press ahead with embalming with only verbal authority from Martin Montel, the local superintendent of police, who assured Jean Monco, quote, that everything would be in order. Under French law, paperwork must be completed before undertaking the embalming of any corpse likely to be subject to a post-mortem. This paperwork was completed, but only after the embalming had been carried out, giving rise to allegations of suspicious circumstances. The allegations were made despite there being no way the hospital staff could have known whether or not Diana was pregnant, as a pregnancy test would have been irrelevant to her post-crash treatment and accordingly was not carried out. One of the main motives which has been advanced for alleged murder includes suggestions Diana was pregnant with Mohammed Dodi Fayed's child and the couple were about to get engaged. The alleged dislike of the idea of a non-Christian within the British royal family meant such a relationship between the mother of the future king and an Egyptian Muslim would not be tolerated. In Mohammed Al Fayed's view, which he repeated in court at the inquest in February 2008, Prince Philip, Prince Charles, the future King Charles III, Diana's sister, Lady Sarah McCorquodale, and numerous others were all involved in a plot to kill the princess and his son.
We gotta find the princess. And you gotta help us. If you need instructions on how to get through the hotels, check out the enclosed instruction book.
Jeffrey Steinberg of the Executive Intelligence Review has also put forward theories that the Princess of Wales was murdered by the security services under the instructions of Prince Philip. Al Fayed made the assertion in television interviews that the couple were going to announce their engagement on the Monday after the crash, September 1st, 1997. Operation Paget commented that an announcement of such magnitude from the Princess of Wales would have been a substantial media event of worldwide interest and would have required significant preparation. No evidence was found that any such preparation had been made. CCTV evidence shown at the inquest indicates that Dodi left Raposi Jewelers on August 30th with nothing more than a catalog. Alberto Raposi said in 2003 that the ring had been placed on Diana's finger in a Saint-Tropez hotel and was being resized for future collection in Paris, but later admitted to writer Martin Gregory that he had received legal papers from Al Fayed, a client, for more than 20 years. Al Fayed said the couple chose the ring in Monte Carlo and Dodi had picked it up in Paris the day before he died after it had been altered. The statement of Al Fayed was contradicted by the statements of Claude Roulet, a shop assistant, and the CCTV footage. A CCTV recording demonstrated that a ring had been selected by a Ritz hotel official. It was bought by Mohammed Al Fayed after the couple's death.
Alors, bonjour. La maison Repos-ci n'a pas de commentaires à faire concernant la nouvelle provenant de sources d'assurance d'avoir livré samedi soir 30 août 1997 une bague en diamant à monsieur Dodi Al-Fayed à Paris. Voilà. Je vous remercie.
Repos-ci Jewels has no comments regarding the news coming from the source of an insurance company that he delivered a diamond ring to Mr. Dodi Al-Fayed in Paris on the 30th of August. Thank you.
What's your name, please? What's your name?
A few hours before the crash on the afternoon of August 30th, Diana's journalist friend, Richard Kay, received a call on his mobile phone from Diana in which she asked about what was likely to appear in the following day's Sunday papers about her. During this call, she made no mention of any announcement she intended to make. More revealing was the statement given by Diana's eldest sister, McCorkdale, who testified that in a phone conversation with Diana on Friday, August 29th, Diana spoke about Dodi Fayed in a manner that gave her sister the impression the relationship was on stony ground. Statements from other friends and confidants Diana spoke to in the week before her death included her butler, Paul Burrell, her friend, Lady Annabelle Goldsmith, and her spiritual advisor, Rita Rogers, were unanimous that she was firm about not wanting to get engaged or married to anyone at that point in her life. A week before she died, the princess had told Goldsmith, "I need marriage like a rash on my face." Diana's former private secretary, Patrick Jeffson, said to the BBC in reaction to the publication of the Operation Paget report in December 2006 that her facial expression in the CCTV footage of her at the Paris Ritz on her final evening with Dodi Fayed was one she would wear when she was disgruntled with the situation. However, CCTV images released on October 6, taken just minutes before their deaths, show a relaxed Diana and Dodi affectionately holding hands. An inquiry witness was Hasnat Khan, a Muslim heart surgeon of Pakistani origin based in London who had a relationship with Diana for 2 years. Diana had explored the possibility of marriage with him. This had been met with no opposition from the royal family, and then Prince Charles had given his blessing.
From 1995 to 1997. Who is this doctor? Was he the love of Diana's life? And did he attend her funeral? So what do we know about the romance between the doctor and the late princess? Diana met Dr. Hasnat Khan in a waiting room at London's Royal Brompton Hospital on September 1st, 1995, while she was there visiting her friend's husband. Hasnat, who was 37 years old at the time, was assisting on the surgery and came into the waiting room where he was introduced to Diana. Apparently, he barely noticed the princess, just nodded and left the room, like he wasn't impressed at all. But Diana was immediately struck by him and said to her friend, "Isn't he drop that gorgeous?" The princess returned to the hospital every day during her friend's husband's 3-week hospital stay following complications from triple bypass surgery. Of course, she was also there to get to know the doctor. The couple wanted to do ordinary things, like normal people do, going to the movies, order a drink in a bar, all without being recognized by public and press. Diana hoped that Hasnat could find work away from England so they could marry and live together somewhere in peace. She was also close to Hasnat's family and even visited them in Pakistan. And he said about that, she really enjoyed her time when she came here. She also enjoyed the afternoon tea she had with my family. Hasnat never wanted to make more comments about the princess and their relationship out of respect. He has never sold his story for millions of pounds, despite intense pressure from newspapers and publishers for him to do so. He was undecided about the prospect of marriage, and things were kinda on and off. They eventually ended their relationship in July 97 because Hasnat was doubting. The doctor stated that he believed that if their relationship had continued, he would not be able to endure the attention. His main concern about getting married was that his life would turn into hell because of who she was. 6 days after their split, around July 20, Diana flew to Paris and started seeing Dodi El-Fayed. Hasnat Khan, who was very sad about the breakup, told us Diana was the one who decided to end their relationship. He also claimed that Diana would have a better life with Dodi, who was very wealthy and was able to provide security. Diana's friend, Lady Annabel Goldsmith, later said that in her opinion, Diana was still on the rebound from Hasnat Khan and was trying to make him jealous.
Khan stated that he had received some racist hate mail from members of the public because of the relationship, but had no reason to take what was said in this hate mail seriously. He also stated that he felt the relationship was not opposed by the royal family or any other branch of the British government, including the security services. Paul Burrell stated that Diana was still not over her breakup with Khan at the time of her death. It was also pointed out that Dodi and Diana had only met just under 7 weeks before the crash at Al-Fayed's villa in Saint-Tropez on July 14th, meaning there were only 47 days from their first meeting until the night of the crash.
On a trip to Australia, the press was quick to take advantage of all the bronzed bodies on display. Often in her desire to please, Diana is accused of becoming a chameleon. Psychologists claim that her self-esteem is so low that she feels she exists only when she takes on the colouring of her surroundings. She mixes easily. She is a princess in Kensington, a Sloane Ranger in Knightsbridge, and a very ordinary girl when in conversation with Australian lifeguards.
I, Diana Francis,
I, Diana Francis,
take thee, Charles Philip Arthur George,
take thee, Philip Charles Arthur George,
to my wedded husband,
to my wedded husband,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
from this day forward, for better, for worse,
for better, for worse.
True to me. And he went up to collect his prize first.
Charles went to kiss her and she turned her back. Pictures of him kissing the back of her head.
The privacy of the Scottish estate was again invaded by the press. Transcripts appeared in newspapers of a bugged telephone conversation allegedly between the Princess of Wales, endearingly referred to as Squidgy, and her friend James Gilby. The recording revealed a princess in turmoil, deeply troubled, lonely and vulnerable.
It's just so difficult, so complicated. It makes my life real torture, I've decided.
Lonely and without friends in the royal family, Diana turned to the Queen Mother for support.
It's affection. It's affection. It's definitely affection. It's sort of,
It's affection.
yeah, definitely.
Is it?
It's not hostile, anyway.
Oh, isn't it?
No. She's sort of fascinated by me, but doesn't quite know how to unravel it. Yeah.
Despite Diana's recorded protestation that she had done so much for the royal family, officials dismissed the tapes as inconclusive.
So that was it. I was very bad last and he started blubbering. I just felt really sad and broke. I thought, bloody hell, what have I done for this family?
The Sun newspaper reported that the Secret Service MI5 was behind the recordings. Newspaper reports claim that the government's official electronic eavesdropping station was responsible. In the interests of national security, MI5 monitors royal telephone conversations to gain knowledge about their movements and acquaintances. A more sinister view is that Charles needed evidence of his wife's infidelity.
It was in Charles's interest, and perhaps the palace's interest, no one else's, that Diana's phones be bugged, and bugged they were. She knew that herself and had complained to the Queen's private secretary, Sir Robert Fellowes, that her apartments were bugged and they needed debugging, and indeed they were cleaned up. What wasn't cleaned up was what was happening on the line from her apartments to the outside world, and most experts concur that it was between, let us say, her phone and the general switchboard that a bug was placed. What's disturbing is not that Diana was bugged necessarily, because that was, the excuse could have been the national interest, but that the eventual recording was cleaned up with a very sophisticated device called a digital adapter filter. This sort of thing would be needed, would cost about £35,000 and would normally only be available to the security services or to the military. So that was used, it was cleaned up, and after it was cleaned up, it was spliced together. There are joins in the, audible joins in milliseconds in the conversation, and then it was rebroadcast.
Rebroadcast using a mobile telephone to disguise their sources. This way, the perpetrators ensured that the taped conversation was picked up accidentally by amateur radio hams. By contacting the press, this telephone evidence confirmed that Diana was unhappy in her marriage to Charles and needed the support and love of a male companion. Exposed by the tapes and now handed by the press, there is no doubt that James Gilby helped Diana through her crisis. Lonely, depressed and spied upon, Diana spent many years waiting to be heard by a man with a sympathetic and understanding ear.
Letter to
British Foreign Secretary Robin Cook remarked that if the crash had been caused in part by being hounded by paparazzi, it would be doubly tragic. Diana's younger brother, the Earl Spencer, also blamed tabloid media for her death. An 18-month French judicial investigation concluded in 1999 that the crash was caused by Paul, who lost control at high speed while intoxicated. As reported by the BBC, no charges were brought against the paparazzi who had been pursuing the princess's car. Early on, it was uncertain that Diana would receive a ceremonial funeral since she had lost the status of Her Royal Highness following her divorce from Prince Charles in 1996. Diana's death was met with extraordinary public expressions of grief, and her funeral at Westminster Abbey on September 6th drew an estimated 3 million mourners and onlookers in London. Outside the Abbey and in Hyde Park, crowds watched and listened to proceedings on large outdoor screens and speakers as guests filed in, including representatives of the many charities of which Diana was patron. Attendees included U.S. First Lady Hillary Clinton and French First Lady Bernadette Chirac, as well as celebrities, including Italian tenor Luciano Pavarotti and two friends of Diana, George Michael and Elton John. John performed a rewritten version of his song Candle in the Wind that was dedicated to her, known as Goodbye England's Rose, or Candle in the Wind 1997. The single became the best-selling single since UK and US singles charts began in the 1950s, with total sales exceeding 33 million units. The funeral is estimated to have been watched by 31.5 million viewers in Britain. Precise calculation of the worldwide audience is not known, but it was estimated to be around 2.5 billion. The ceremony was broadcast in 44 languages.
William, wrestling his emotions as the cameras and paparazzi encroach on this most private moment. Diana called him her little wise old man. He's 15. Harry, he's just 12 years old. He always wanted to have a normal life, and instead he has to stand here, stifling his grief. Amidst all the splendor and ceremony, one thing in particular stands out. The single handwritten word on a white envelope on top of the coffin. Mummy. To so many people, Diana was an icon, a legend. To Harry and William, she was a mother.
After the end of the ceremony, Diana's coffin was driven to Althorpe in a Daimler hearse. Mourners cast flowers at the funeral procession for almost the entire length of its journey, and vehicles even stopped on the opposite carriageway of the M1 motorway as the cars passed. In a private ceremony, Diana was buried on an island in the middle of a lake called the Oval, which is part of the pleasure garden at Althorpe. The coffin bore the weight of 1/4 ton as it was lined with lead, as is tradition with British royalty. In her coffin, she wears a black Catherine Walker dress and black tights and is holding a rosary in her hands. The rosary had been a gift from Mother Teresa of Calcutta, a confidant of Diana, who had died the day before the funeral. A visitor center is open during summer months with an exhibition about Diana and a walk around the lake. All profits are donated to the Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Fund.
I speak for all mediocrities in the world. I am their champion. I am their patron saint. Mediocrities everywhere. I absolve you. I absolve you. I absolve you. I absolve you. I absolve you all.
I got nothing else to do.